Hey guys, Jeff here, Dice Setters. So last weekend I was in Vegas, of course, and what a wonderful weekend it truly was. There's many aspects of this game. There's strategy, having the right money, having the right table. Everything just it just came together. It was, I don't know, it was like a dream. Let me tell you about it. First, let me start off by telling you some of the things I don't really know how to tell people, but let me give you for instance. I went to the table and there were 7 people. Yeah, you heard me. 7 people on each side. Not 7 people all together. 7 people on the left, 7 people on the right. My favorite spot is R1. Right here. R1. Favorite spot. So you're throwing to that direction. So let's pretend that this is there. It's easier to understand. So you're going to have one person in this hook playing here. You're going to have one person in the middle of the hook. And then you're going to have one person on the outside edge of the hook. And we've made our point. Our point is 8. So now that we've made our point, now you have all these people with their bets. You have me on this side of the table trying to throw into that mess right there. You know, it's about all you got. If you see somebody dice setting and you are in this area, try to make contact with them. Try to make facial contact with them and sit there and, you know, maybe move. I don't know. Because that, if we're after money, and that's what we're after, because it's called gambling, you'd want to do the best you can for your fellow man that is trying to throw the dice. So that's what I had when I sat there and went to the table on Friday. I had this mess. But it still worked out fine, except everybody at the table got mad at me. I got to R1, they were throwing at L2, had to go all the way around the table. I think it must have taken an hour and a half. An hour and a half to get around the table. I was hot, I was sweaty, no drinks. We were packed in like sardines. Yeah, it wasn't good, but you know, what are you going to do? Ellis has gone up to $10 on their table, which, you know, I knew they would eventually. But I went there and I'm like, I don't really care what my strategy is once the point is set. But when I get there and it's my turn to roll, I'm going to put a quarter on the world bet. And if you say, what's a quarter on the world bet? You have 4 horn numbers. It's $1 for each horn. It's $1 on any 7. So if you hit a 7, it sets it back up. If you hit a horn, you're going to be paid a lot of money. I put a quarter there. The guy goes, you want a quarter? I said, yeah, I want a quarter, which is $25. It is not truly a quarter. And I sat there and hit my horn. So the best thing you can do is might as well go ahead and press it up. So I pressed it up. I pressed it up 4 more times. And I sat there and did a horn number 5 times in a row, which is what I wanted to do. I set out and I did exactly what I wanted to do. And so in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm going to sit there and do a 1-2, 2-1 dice set. When the point is made, I'm going to switch it. And that's where I made the mistake. I should not have switched it. But switching it, now I've got this mess to worry about. So I've got to come in high enough to drop it. And of course, with most of my dice set combinations, you want to keep it as low as possible. You can sit there and skyrocket it in there. But if they should bounce and do a 180, you're going to get a 7. And that's what happened. After 2 rolls, I sat there and rolled a 7, and everyone at the table was mad. You might, well, why was everyone at the table mad? You walked away with a lot of money. I did, but nobody else wanted to go on C. No one else wanted to do insurance. Everyone kept on losing their pass line bet. If you see somebody dice setting, and we haven't made a point yet, and they keep on rolling horns, guess what I would be betting on? Yeah, the horns. I don't know. I don't know, you know. I try to help people as best I can. After that, you just got to let them sort it out themselves. There was a guy who was at the table that was about ready to get kicked off the table. In my videos, I sit there and tell you, there are certain places you cannot dice set. Laughlin is one of them. I don't know why. They say it's because it took too long. They made a sign that say no dice setting. There's other people that say you can dice set on Laughlin. I don't have any plans on going back to Laughlin, so I'll never find out. That being said, when you're doing dice setting, you better make it as quick and easy for the rest of the players as possible. There was one gentleman that was not, and he is the one that almost got kicked off. It would pass him 5 dice. I really don't know why they give you 5 dice. I think it'd be better just give me 2. They're all the same. They're all balanced. There is one person in particular that I have banned from YouTube, my channel, because he would argue that the dice that you get from the casino are not true dice. They're weighted or whatever. Could you imagine what kind of conspiracy that would be for MGM or somebody as big as that finding out that the dice are weighted that they're using? They're not. Too much of a risk. They already get enough money. They get enough money from the people that don't know how to play it. Why sit there and introduce something that's going to make it even worse? You don't need to. You're making enough money. They're making enough money as it is. They passed the guy five dice. And I kid you not, I am not lying with the presentation I'm about ready to give you. Because this is what the gentleman did. Do you see it? No, they're not here yet. Oh, no, almost. This is what he was doing in the middle of a game. The rest of us about ready to lose our stuffing. You can't be doing that in the middle of a game. You gotta make it quick, gotta make it easy, just sit there and transition it. And he almost got kicked out. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm going to show you kind of what I would do. I would definitely practice. That's the world bet. Because if I can do it, I know y'all can do it. It's as easy as that. This is the dice set I was using. I use it throughout the night, and I use it for the come-out roll. I use it for after the come-out roll. It worked absolutely perfect. There was 3 times that I 7'd out and I shouldn't have 7'd out. And if your mechanics are identical, you're going to hit the same thing every single time. On the craps table, there's a little placard. Yeah, no, it's probably sits about right here. That tells you how much the table is, odds, everything. I sat there and hit that sign 3 times. Each time I hit the sign, it would go to a 7. I never sat there and worried about that sign up until Friday night. And Friday night, I sat there and hit that sign 3 times. It would sit there and bounce and then hit, and then right up there in the sign and go straight down, make it a 7. My table does not have signs. When you're doing your table for your casino, you want to mimic your casino table as much, your homemade table to the casino table as much as possible. I won't put signs up. I'll just make sure I aim a little bit more to the inside so I won't hit their sign. But if your mechanics are spot on, you're going to hit the same number every single time. So if you're hitting 7 on your come-out roll and you're not changing your come-out roll to your regular roll, your chances are pretty high you're going to hit a 7. So if you hit a 7 on your come-out roll and you didn't mean to, I would give it the opportunity to fix it before you finish your come-out roll. This is a no-spin dice. At least you try not to spin it. You try to put it about 3 inches from the alligator there. It's going to be a 6. I did not make my horn, but then again I am being videotaped. And I was telling a pretty cool story. What I'm going to do next time, because I've thought really long and hard what I'm going to do next time. Because it was just too much fun the last time. On my 6 and 8, I'm going to do 102. That's 17 times the amount of the table's minimum for that one. For my 5, I'm going to make it 100 because there are 5s and 9s and 4s and 10s. They're all 5, 10, 15, whatever. I'm going to make that 100. My biggest thing about using the field is that if I hit an 8 or if I hit a 5 or if I hit a 6, I will lose this money. But I don't want to miss out on hitting the 12, the 11, the 10, the 9, the 2, the 3, and the 4. So I am still going to use my field, but it's going to be a smaller amount. I'm going to use my field at 15. And I'm going to try to hit, I'm going to try to sit there and stick with 5s. I want to hit more 5s than anything else. That's what I'm going to try to do. That's what my goal is. It's a hard 4. I'm going to put $1 on the 6 because that is our come out roll. Put $1 on the 4. Or a chip on the 4 because that's what we just hit. This would be in a field, so we would have won 15. We'll set that right there, and we're going to roll again. Oh, I don't have my pass. This is what I was going to do for my pass. I don't have it all played out. Put a quarter down for your pass. You would have had a quarter, which is still up here. We'll take it down. So we've lost that. I'll put that there on our lost pile. 25 on the pass. You go, man, that's high. But what's that going to do is I don't have a bet for this guy. So I'm going to take my bet, which would be $102, and I'm going to move some of that behind this line because I know I can hit a 6. So I'm going to put a quarter behind my pass line because I think I should be able to hit a 6 without a problem. Four. Easy 4. That's going to be another 15. Mark our 4. I thought we were going to hit more 5s than 4s, but it doesn't seem to be today. When you're doing this, guys, sit there and press it up. If you keep on hitting 4s every single time, keep your mechanics the same. Now's not the time to change up your mechanic. Just like when you're doing car work, you don't want to change up your mechanic and sit there and switch to somebody else. 9. Marker 9. It's going to be another $15. I should be counting because the you know what's coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 hits. Let's try for 2 more, and then we'll sit there and go down because I still haven't got a hit yet off of the 5 or the 8. 4. So this is when you go, you know what? I'm gonna buy that 4. That would have been $15. And we want to do 1 more, and then we're gonna half that right there. Because we don't want to give back all of our money. Don't need to do that. Ooh. 4. Hard 4. There would be a VIG involved in that as well. I'm going to keep that there. I'm going to go down on these by half. I'm going to leave that way. I'm still going to count up my money for you so you can see how we did. We're going to make that a 30. We're going to make that a quarter. We're going to go down to 10. And we just keep on going. Still have not hit a 5 or an 8. There was a 5. That was one time past our shutdown spot. Boy, that was a horrible roll. There was 8. Pay myself for those. Eight. Oops, that was an 8. It was not a 7. $10. I would have lost money also from that too, so it's not going to give you a right representation of how much money you actually won. This is the way it was all Friday night. And it finally got to be that I was the only one rolling at the table, which was fine with me. I was having a free practice. Five. Hard 6. Made my point. As you see, guys, it's as simple as that. You sit there and say, well, you know, they made it look so easy. But how much practice did I have before I could do that? Tons and tons of practice. When I built my table, I spent the first 2 months practicing before I went back to the casino. It was really tempting to sit there and say, okay, we're going to try it. I didn't want that. I didn't even know if I had the bounce right. I just wanted a table that I could try. And I did for 2 months. For 2 months is all I did. And from the time I went to work to the time I went to bed, it was nothing but practicing. Practicing, practicing, practicing. Once you find the casino you want to stay with, you want to sit there and try to duplicate your table to their table. I won't sit there and put signs in. I'll just sit there and make sure that I scoot over just a hair so I won't hit their sign. But it shows that it's as simple as that. I did sit there and stop at the Venetian, and I had to sit there and throw the dice. I stopped at a table that was $25 table. I never played on a $25 table. Well, actually I did. Golden Nugget I did. And yeah, their tables are bouncy like you would not believe. And it's like, man, what's so fun about that? You know, you've ruined it because it's so bouncy. Stick with the smaller casinos. They'll most likely not have such a bouncy table. See what happens. Have a good one, guys. Like, share, subscribe. I'm at 655 subscribers so far. I'm trying to get to 1,000. Once we get to 1,000, I won't ask anymore. But I'm trying to get it that way so I can go live when I'm in Vegas. There are times that I do pull up my phone, I do record, but it's, you know, at the moment, it's been really cool to sit there and go live. Especially when you can. There's times at the casino you can't, but there's times you can. Just to show you things, you know, that I see that maybe you guys might not be able to because you're not in Vegas or you're not in Vegas at that time. Like, share, subscribe. Look at us on Facebook. It has the same videos, but now it gives you guys an opportunity to post things. You know, there's some people that are going to the casinos here in Phoenix, and they're making a killing on it. So that's where everyone can be informed. Just go to that Facebook page, Dice Headers, and everyone that's in that area are posting about what they're winning. They're posting about, you know, what the minimums are, what the maximums are. I think they were a $5. Now I think they're up to 10 or 15. So as times change, you know, the tables do go up. As the economy is doing whatever it's doing, you know, everything's going up. It's going to go up. I don't know if it'll ever go back down, but hopefully, you know, we can at least find some $10 tables. Hopefully it's not like those don't exist, but they do. So $5, $10, whatever it takes to have fun. And remember, we keep in our budget, not what you see on you know, other videos where they're sitting there going all in. If you can't afford $102, don't do $102. Do the table minimum. Or you can sit there and say, well, I can't afford both of them. Well, just play one if you want to play, or wait a month and then you can sit there and afford to play it correctly. But never play beyond your budget. That's not the way of doing it. You might win a couple of times, but it will get you eventually, and Mama is going to be mad. We can't stand it when Mama's mad, especially at us. Have a good one, guys. Take care.